them there. Now you've already preceded us there and we're going to follow you and inshallah ta'ala we'll be united again. Very funny Islam this is, man, talking to dead people. Can you understand how lame these arguments are? So Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala was buried. Did anyone in the history of Islam object to it? No. Of course the Shiites have a problem with it now. If they can help it, they'll exhume the two bodies there. Not the stupids. No, they're very serious about it. Huh? Some of the extremists among the Shias are very serious. If they control Medina, they'll exhume the body of Abu Bakr Siddiq and Umar and Farooq radiallahu ta'ala. I said, Hassan, you found the two bodies there in Thailand, what are you going to do? That puts water over your argument. Puts water over your argument. You understand? So, Ummul Mu'minin Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu didn't have a problem with it. Umar ibn Khattab regarded it as permissible. Abu Bakr Siddiq regarded it as permissible. Imam Hassan radiallahu ta'ala anhu also wanted to be buried by his grandfather. He also wanted to be buried by his grandfather. And he told Imam al-Hussein, if any objections take place, don't shed blood. Too much has been shed already. If any objections are raised there, without any fighting, please take my blessed body there and bury it in Jannatul Baqi. So his aqidah too, buried there. So we could stand up and say, but you know, Prophet of Allah, what makes you think you got such a high ranking there? Na'uzu billahi min dhalik. But you understand the thinking. Now, from that perspective, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's grave, Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu's grave, Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu's grave, Usman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu want to be buried there. Sayyidina Usman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu was not even buried in a Muslim graveyard. Do you know that? You know, in the time of civil unrest, he had to be buried in the Jewish graveyard. That's why you will see there were two graveyards there. And he was buried at the border. If you go to Jannatul Baqi now, you will see that Usman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala's grave is the farthest away. Did you ever wonder why? Muslims didn't want him to be buried in Jannatul Baqi. What's wrong with us, man? I'm talking from a history perspective. Yeah, we don't know our history, really. Usman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Okay? There is one narration, and there's no authentic saying, right? Some of the opinion that Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra radiallahu ta'ala, and this is some of the old Turkish books, you know, the Turkish books of history, right, that they have there. They say Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra radiallahu ta'ala is buried in her apartment, which was next to the apartment of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now if you go through Bab Baqi, Bab Jibreel, you know, that small passageway there, right, where people can send salam by the best feet of the Prophet ﷺ as well. You'll go past a door just when you enter that area where the man who's in charge of the khadim who's in charge of the tomb of the Prophet ﷺ sits. Just go past there, you'll see a little door there, and it has a lock on it, right? And you'll see it's actually a door. That was actually the door to Bibi Fatima al-Zahra radiallahu ta'ala anha's house. And if you walk, you know, some of the old photographs, you'll see. You'd see that Gumbad al-Khazra is there, right? And then you would see like a fence, right? And you would see like trees and everything growing inside there. I don't know whether you've seen that photograph. Have you seen it? You know the old ones with the Gumbad al-Khazra, and then there was like a fence and like trees were growing out there. That was the garden of Fatima al-Zahra radiallahu ta'ala. Today they just marked it, you know, with very subtle markings, right, just to pinpoint the area. But in the old days, they actually had it cordoned off, and plants and dates, whatever it should still grow there. I have a picture of that day. If you walk into Maulana's room, just above the door there, you'll see that old photograph of Medina. You'll see that garden. That was Bustan Fatima, or Hadiqa Fatima. That's it. Just after the arches, right, where the new section is now. That's where it is. Now they just put pillars there. Right. So coming back. Right? Some say that Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra, because she was buried in the darkness of the night, no one was there. Only Ali karamullah ta'ala wajhul kareem and Hasnain al-Karimain, and some of the trusted people. I can't even count them on my fingers. So no one knows exactly where she was buried. So some Turkish historians say that she's still buried in her apartment in the tomb, and some of them say no, she's buried in Jannatul Baqi. But coming back to this issue again, right? In terms of the proof of the graves, and the building of a grave and the construction of a building over it there. The Prophet ﷺ's example, and the example of Mu'minin Aisha Siddiqa, and Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar, and Farooq Azam, and Imam Al-Hasan radiallahu ta'ala, and all the Sahaba who never objected to it in spite of the political differences there, is enough to realize that it's not only permissible for Anbiya, but it's permissible for Sahaba. Right? And after that, if you've seen some of the old photographs of the Turkish era and so on there, and way before this time here, you will see in Jannatul Baqi that these buildings were constructed above the graves of Sayyidah Fatima al-Zahra and Imam al-Hasan and all some of the most prominent Sahabis like Sayyidina Usman al-Ghani radiallahu ta'ala, and this was only destroyed in the 1800s. Only in the 1800s, which means almost 200 years ago. Before that, all the ulama of Islam never had a problem with it. Never had a problem with it. Inshallah, we'll continue after Salah. I just want to give you quickly, I'll give you the opinions of the various scholars, right, of madhab, to say what their opinions are and why. Let me clarify one matter. All the opinions I may not be able to give you, but the whole point was that they did not regard it as permissible for ordinary gaze of ordinary people to be plastered, covered up, and for a place to be made over it. No. Number two, the reason why these buildings are constructed there is, one, is to make it easier for people who come to visit, and to make it more comfortable for people to. So some used to say that at Imam Hussein radiallahu ta'ala, after he was martyred, his wife, right, Rabab, she spent 1 year at the grave of Imam Hussein. 1 year. And she just had like a tent pitched over his grave, and she sat there for 1 year. And after 1 year, she said, she read a few lines of poetry which is in Ibn Kathir's Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, wherein she said something to this effect here, that you know what, if a person can sit here for 1 year, then this person has to be forgiven for what she has done. Meaning, spending time at a grave and not leaving it for 1 complete year. She sat there in grief and mourning for 1 year. In that heat, in that place called Karbala. Okay? So, second thing, there is no verse in the Holy Quran, no matter what the Kharijis may tell you, which refutes all the shirk that people attribute to graves, and worshipping of the deceased people, and worshipping of Anbiya, and worshipping of the pious, and so on there. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala, the son of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala, and this is narrated in Fathul Bari of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, Imam al-Imam fil Hadith. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani narrates that Ibn Umar radiallahu ta'ala used to curse the Kharijis. Today they are the Salafis, who should take the verse of the Holy Quran which were revealed about the mushriks who used to commit shirk, and they would use those same verses and misconstrue those verses and misinterpret those verses there, and then direct it towards accusations against Muslims and accuse them of shirk. And today, it's exactly the same thing which takes place. Listen to one of these scholars talking. Hey, they'll finish you. And you know the interesting part? Here's another, twist in the tail. The Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the overwhelming majority of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah of the Hanafi, Shafi'i, Hanbali, Maliki mazhab, right? Besides the Salafis, don't have a problem with the construction of graves and going there and visitation of graves, blah, 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 blah. And by the way, the Shia community also doesn't have a problem with it. It's only one minority in the Muslim community that is gone to extremes of destroying it, and also another minority in the community there, right, who dislikes it vehemently to a point wherein people who subscribe to their views won't be seen near it. So you get the extremist one that destroy it, and then you get the other group that doesn't go near it. And the point that is given is that you commit shirk. You are kabar pujaris. You are grave worshippers. Right? They're all different strains of one school of thought. And this is what has split our community here. We will continue inshallah after Isha.